Hey everyone, Steven here with Level 1 Sword. Nathan will be joining me for an in-depth discussion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4 news. Don't worry, we'll try to stay reasonable. Maybe. Alright, so Steven here with Nathan, and we were going to discuss the MCU Phase 4 titles, which were announced recently here at the San Diego Comic-Con. And I'm just gonna run through the list real quick. We have Black Widow that is set for a May 1st, 2020 release. The Eternals, November 6th, 2020. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings for February 12th, 2021. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, May 7th, 2021. And Thor, Love and Thunder, November 5th, 2021.
Right off the bat, I thought Black Widow was dead.
So, Black Widow, I thought was going to be an origin story, and it turns out it's actually going to take place between Civil War and Infinity War.
Then how are they going to do that without including, like, Chris Evans?
He might be in it. You never know. He did say that after his contract was up, he wouldn't mind coming back to play Captain America.
So, then Hawkeye might be in it? That'd be cool.
I would like that because, number one, I think Hawkeye could. If she gets her own movie, I think he could too.
Yeah, and I think her movie would be cool. I've always liked her character, and she was especially redeemed, I feel like, in Endgame. And so it's kind of cool to bring her back now because I just felt like in Infinity War she was just really like barely there and like didn't do much. But in Endgame she was dope, so that's awesome. But what's the Shang-Chi?
Yeah.
It's a movie?
Yeah.
This is news to me. I didn't hear about that one.
So they're making a big deal out of it because it's the first, like, Asian lead in an MCU movie, which, you know, hey, why not? We're making big deals left and right here.
Asians.
But the cool thing about that is, and I didn't want to get this out of the way before we moved on to that, so with Black Widow, I guess we're finally going to know how she got that terrible-looking bleached hair in Infinity War.
Oh, maybe so. Because that was bad. And then she lost her eyebrows, too.
Right.
We need an explanation.
Totally blended in.
Yeah.
But no, so Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I'm unfamiliar with the character. I don't know if it's a more recent Marvel hero. But the villain he's going to be up against is going to be the real Mandarin.
That's what I was about to say. The Ten Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't that the Mandarin's thing?
Yeah.
Collecting,
and the Ten Rings is the terrorist group that Tony was fighting in the first Iron Man.
Okay, yeah, I thought that sounded familiar, but that's interesting.
That's right.
It's not going to be Trevor, the soccer fan.
Although he needs to be in it.
That would be awesome.
Somehow.
Yeah. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. And it's not going to be him like doing like a double fake out because they've already announced a different.
Right off the bat, the name for Doctor Strange 2 sounds really stupid. They need to work on that.
Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. Yeah, it's honestly.
I'll take Doctor Strange 2 over that.
It's like the name of an episode from the old Batman 1960s show.
Yeah, it needs work, but that's why it's not out yet.
Same strange time, same strange channel. They would always end the episode of the Batman episodes with same bat time, same bat channel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Camp. That show is the definition of camp.
Oh, right, yeah.
So we also have the Eternals, which you and I are
incredibly
collectively.
Diverse. It's going to be a diversity blast. It's going to be awesome. The MCU is truly moving forward with this, guys. It's about time.
So excited. And we come to Thor, Love and Thunder, which
also
sounds
kind of dumb to me.
Yes. Now I do like that. I think it's pronounced Taika Waititi. Yeah, Taika Waititi is directing it again. Same guy who.
Korg.
Yep, and he also directed Ragnarok.
Right.
So I'm sure he's going to do a terrific job. But Natalie Portman as Thor. Now, I do want to get my two opinions out here first. And we'll get some going back and forth going, if that's how you say that. So it is about a recent comic book storyline. So it's not completely out of left field that they're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing lore breaking about Jane becoming Thor because, I mean, Odin did say to Mjolnir, you know, whoever's worthy of the name of Thor, you know, you
will
can
have the
be
power
doing
of
it.
Thor.
And at Comic-Con, they had like this thing where Kevin Feige hands her, or Feige, whatever, hands her Mjolnir.
Oh, that's that picture that I've seen going all over the place.
So my question is, are they going to bring back Mjolnir?
Well, Mjolnir...
He brought it back into the timeline. That's what everyone's saying.
Yeah, he has
Steve
both,
did.
doesn't he? Doesn't Thor
No,
have
when
both
Steve
right now?
when Steve Rogers went back to put the
He took it with him?
Infinity Stones back in place, he brought Mjolnir too.
Oh.
Because it was needed in that timeline too, when you think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, we have examples of Captain America doing it in the comics and Endgame, so it's not totally out of the question. So this is going to be the 4th Thor movie, which is the first ever for an MCU franchise. Of course, I'm not counting Avengers because those are crossover movies. They're kind of their own breed. And so much like Ragnarok, I do think they're looking to change up the formula. I do want to get this out of the way. I don't have a problem with female leads. Like you, I'm actually looking forward to Black Widow. I enjoyed Captain Marvel for the most part. I thought
Despite
it was
the main character being kind of a
blank
slate. Yeah.
Yes, and I watched it the second time this past weekend, and yeah, she's just. It's funny because during the special features, there was one featurette where she's talking about how she's so happy that she's going to be, or she likes doing the whole. She actually used the term like emotionally diverse character, or like all the emotions, and I'm like, you don't emote, you don't show any emotion.
Yeah, here's the thing I feel about Captain Marvel the movie. Like, she's a likable character in that because of what she does, not who she is. Like, I don't know, like that's kind of how I feel. Like, because of what she does, you like root for her, but like with her actual character and like the aspects of her, it's like it's not much. So that's the only, I don't know, it's interesting.
And she does have a very dry sense of humor. I just don't think the actress pulls it off.
She straight up stole a dude's motorcycle too.
Yeah, she did,
which was not cool. That's theft. But whatever, I guess. Strong women,
Yeah.
Gotta love them.
So let's get into the big questions here. All right. So, question for you, Nate.
Okay.
Is a Jane Foster turned Thor movie really necessary?
No, it's not necessary. It's not necessary because, if you want to shake up the franchise, do something other than that. And again, this is not me saying that I don't like strong female leads or whatever. I don't like the character of Jane Foster at all. I don't. Okay, this is interesting. When you asked me, this is my thought process. When you asked me to come do this video, I thought to myself, I started analyzing it more, and I was like, okay, so like, what is it about Jane Foster that would like make this make sense? Like, what is it about her character that we've seen that would make her worthy? Blah blah blah. So I started like thinking about like her character traits, and I was just like, holy cow! She's a nerd. She likes science, and she likes Thor because he's hot. That's literally her character. Like I tried to I started like thinking. I was like, what are like? Maybe I should go back and watch the movies, but like, what else is there? Like, I don't like. She's just not that much of a character. Not that likable. Like, I don't know. I never felt like she was very well developed in the first two movies, and so that's why to me, it's not necessary, because with her it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know. That's don't you agree, right? Like,
yeah, there's like hardly anything to her character.
Yeah. So what's your answer to that question?
I mean,
that's mine.
Yeah, it makes about as much sense as making Betty from The Incredible Hulk a hero. I mean, they're the love interests of their stories. I mean, they didn't really invest into the character. I mean, in hindsight, they probably should have if they were going this route. And I'm sure we're going to see her do something super heroic towards the beginning of the movie to be able to wield Mjolnir.
So I guess apparently Thor's going to be off doing something else, and so she like has to defend from something? Is that the whole thing? That's what I think that's what I read about how the comics goes.
Well, Thor has been depowered a few times in the comics, and other people have taken up the mantle.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of a thing that happens every so often. Just like he lost his power in the first movie, that can happen again.
Just why Jane Foster? Well, why Natalie Portman's Jane Foster? Like, she's not likable. Like that. My hope, and maybe we'll get into this later. Like my hope for the movie is just that it's done well. Hope maybe they can do something to redeem her character. Like, but they'd have to do it quick in that movie, you know,
Yeah.
to like make her established and likable to make it work. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see why they're changing it up this way. To me, they changed it up perfectly fine in Ragnarok when they made the emphasis less on action and drama and more to comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the major turn for Ragnarok. And Chris Hemsworth hit it out of the park with that role. Like, we didn't even see that he could be like that with the character. And then we saw that go even further with Infinity War and Endgame to like the nth degree.
Right.
As far as almost making him into a parody of the character.
Right. And, well, it's interesting because you kind of see that transformation start in Age of Ultron. Like, I remember I went back and watched Age of Ultron, and he was actually pretty funny in that one too. Whereas in Avengers, he was kind of still just bleh.
He did have some funny lines.
In Age of Ultron, I felt like they did.
The
but I feel
original.
like in Age of Ultron, they actually kind of started that too. But anyways, that's just a side note, I guess.
Something like someone says, "Oh yeah," Banner says about Loki. His head is a bag of cats, and he goes,
He's adopted.
And no, he says he's a son of Asgard, and then someone responds by saying,
Yeah, he killed.
He killed 37 people. He's adopted.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought up the previous phases, because Jane Foster hasn't been in any of the Phase 3 movies minus Endgame. And Endgame, they just used footage from that they shot in Dark World.
Yeah.
I think they brought her in for a little bit of voiceover work, and that's all. For
In
Endgame.
Endgame?
Yeah.
What voice over? Oh, for that one. She said. Like,
yeah, she says something to the attendants when they come to check on her off camera.
Yeah.
So there was that. My next story, and I guess I'll answer this first. Or, I'm sorry, my next question. And I'll answer it first. Is this a good story in the comics, or is it pandering to the current social climate? So the storyline from the comics involving Jane becoming Thor didn't sit well with fans. The Thor comics actually dropped drastically in sales after the first issue. And Marvel has actually done this with a couple of other different characters, either giving them a female counterpart to play off of, or replacing them with a female version of the hero. And it doesn't sit well with comics, which are mostly read by dudes. I mean, the whole point of, I think, superhero movies starring a male lead, and comics in general, the reason why most superheroes are male is because men are the ones that read these stories and watch these stories.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why you have movies called chick flicks. There's a reason why you have man caves, and like, there are certain things that we identify with, and men identify with wanting to be strong and wanting to be heroic, where, I'm sorry, women don't. They just don't. So when you change the character that men like to a character that men can no longer relate to, of course they're gonna just naturally not be that interested. And it's not a sexist thing. It's just, I'm not all that interested in the story you're telling me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, and it's unreasonable to just say, well, you just need to accept it. No, we won't just accept it. We'll take our money somewhere else if we don't like the story you're telling.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to see it in theaters, but I'll decide when trailers start coming out. Of course, it's like years away, or I guess a year away. 2021, right? Is that what?
November 2021.
So yeah,
so
like
2 years, a couple years.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, final question, and you can start with this one.
Okay.
Is this a sign of Marvel getting cocky?
As in, like, comfortable with where they are.
Overconfident.
And now they're saying we can switch it up on you and go full like SJW, diversity, all-inclusive
whatever we
representation.
Whatever we want in the movies, we're gonna put in there. Because you'll watch it because you like the movie so much.
Probably, I'd say so. I think they've made a lot of money, so it's like they're probably like, we can just keep this thing going. We can put whatever we want in front of people's faces, you know, and they're gonna like it. But I don't know. People do this, like movie star, whether it's like musicians or movie stars or whatever. Like, the example coming to my brain is like certain musicians. And I won't get into details of who because it's pointless. But like, they'll like be really popular, and then all of a sudden they'll just go full like to the left with like all their like statements and put it in their music and stuff. And it's just it's like, you can do that. Like, of course you can do that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that your free speech like shouldn't be allowed because I don't agree with you.
Right.
But it's like, at the same time, like, you're alienating a certain part of your fan base, and it's like, it's just kind of annoying. Like, I don't know. So yeah, I feel like people, when they get organizations, you know, like the MCU and stuff, like companies, like they get a certain place, like they get really big, and I just feel like, okay, now I can do this, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I don't really have extremely high hopes with the direction that it seems like it's going with this next phase. Sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, Disney, I think, bought Marvel for somewhere to the tune of $4 billion, and so far they made something like 18 or 19 billion off the movies. So they've more than made up for, you know, the money they put into it. And I do feel like they're going to be feeling pretty gutsy. We'll be seeing, you know, more LGBT characters show up. I guess you had said that they pretty much confirmed that Valkyrie is going to be a lesbian going here on out. And when the whole motion picture industry just decides to go this route, I do think Hollywood is just embroiled in political correctness, so Disney's not going to be able to help themselves. That, like, they're just going to do it because they are successful. And I think the fear of failing keeps them from going out into these different directions. Mm-hmm. And you can see this in the comments made by a lot of Hollywood actors and executives alike when Georgia started passing very pro-life laws in the state. Like, people were just like, well, we're just not going to work there anymore, even though it's a very tax-friendly place to film. That's why a lot of things are filmed there. So that's just evident in their reaction to that. But I would say that it would serve Disney well to remember who its target audience is, namely families.
Yeah. And
just stay out of espousing their own political agenda. I mean, it will be better for them if they just don't go down that route.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That kind of stuff just sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, I don't know, like, even if you are like, I just don't get the mindset, I guess, like, of people who like want to have like their side included and represented and stuff. It's like, is that how shallow you are, that you like have to see people who are like you on the screen? Like, that's what you're looking for, and if it's not like that, then it's like not good. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. That whole thing is weird to me. Like, I can relate to characters who aren't, you know, in some instances I can relate to characters who aren't
exactly like you.
Yeah, who aren't white, who aren't male. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's all surface level. Like, and that's just, I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Whatever. And what do all of you wonderful viewers think? Are you concerned that a crossover movie like Avengers hasn't been announced? And what about our opinions? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and remember to like, share, and subscribe.